Would you first tell me a little bit about your clients? How old are they? What was their relationship with Mr. Assange? How long had they known him at the time these alleged incidents occurred?
They are two young women. They did not know each other before this happened. I could say they are in the age in between 25 and 35. They had not met before, and they went to this seminar held in Stockholm where Julian Assange was invited to speak. And they had contact with each other afterwards. What happened took place with 2 or 3 days in between and in different places, concerning one of the women in Stockholm and the other woman in a small city outside Stockholm.
And did this occur in August or July?
No, it was in August, yes.
It was in August. So essentially you have two young women who attended a seminar given by Mr. Assange.
Yeah.
And the incidents are... Go ahead.
Well, one of them was involved in the arrangement. And the other woman, she just was very interested in the speech. And she was also interested in getting in contact with Julian Assange, who many people are, to speak with him and to hear him speak, etc.
Right. And when the incidents occurred, was it the first day they'd met Mr. Assange, or had they known him for a few days?
Well, the first... What happened to the youngest of them was she didn't know him. They met. They had dinner together, I think, or something like that. And then together they went to her apartment in a small city outside Stockholm. So they were not acquainted very much.
So the incidents occurred within 2 or 3 days of each other?
Yeah.
The women did not know each other at the time?
No.
How did they come to learn of the other person?
Well, because the young woman, let's call her that, the youngest woman, she knew that the other woman was involved in the arrangement. So she thought she wanted to get in contact with Assange after a few days when she realized what really had happened. And then she got in contact with the woman who was engaged in the arrangement because she thought that was the way to get in contact with Assange, which was correct in a way, but she didn't get in contact with him. And then, as I understand it, I would like to add, they spoke to each other and realized that they had experienced a similar thing. And that's why they decided to go to the police together.
And can you give us any better sense of their ages other than 20 to 35?
Well, the youngest woman is around 25, 26, something like that. And the other one is 30, 32, something like that.
Okay. So these women went to the police?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, they went to the police primarily to get information on what to do. They wanted to tell the police what had happened, and they wanted advice, what shall we do now? And the police officer, a woman, when she heard their stories, she found that this is probably a crime. Assange has probably committed a crime against them, sexual abuse of some kind. And then, and that comes under public prosecution. So she had to go on and to inform a prosecutor. At that time, I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday, a weekend anyway. So that was the prosecutor who was working in this weekend. She came to the conclusion, this is a crime, it's probably rape, and I will make an arrest order for Assange.
At what point did you become involved in the case?
A few days later, I don't remember how much later, but a few days later they took contact with me, they knew of me, and they both wanted me to represent them.
At one point, though, the charges were dropped.
Yes, because on Monday, a new prosecutor, the ordinary prosecutor, took over the case, and she didn't look upon what had happened in the same way as the first prosecutor. And, you know, that's not so odd. It happens in this field that you can make different judgments. Mm-hmm. So she dropped it almost. I think it was some minor crime left, but not the sexual ones. So she dropped that. And then they came to me. I don't remember if they had come to me before, but anyway, I was their representative at that time. I was appointed by the court, actually, yes. I was appointed by the court as their representative. And I came to the conclusion that this is not right, so we appealed to the higher prosecutor and asked for a reopening of the case, and which also happened.
I guess at that point, they're not official charges, but he was again sought for questioning.
Yes, well, to start with, in an investigation, you must find out, has there been a crime? If so, who is the suspect? In this case, of course, it was Assange, but first of all, the prosecutor had to question these two women again in order to get to get enough material to come to the decision, is it a crime or not? And after some time, it took a very long time, unfortunately, she did. This is a crime. And then the next step is to bring in the suspect.
A lot of folks are saying that politics may have been involved in reinstating these allegations.
Nothing at all has to do with politics. There's no connection whatsoever with the CIA, the U.S. government, or the WikiLeaks work. Nothing at all. These are two young women, and they have, unfortunately, had an experience which they share with many other young women. And it's, in that matter, you could say it's an ordinary case.
I know that you are not prepared to talk about the details of what actually happened. But in general terms, what is it that these women are alleging happened to them?
Well, actually, the Court of Appeal in Stockholm has come to the conclusion at this stage that Assange is suspected of rape against one of these women, and sexual molestation and coercion against the other woman. And a rape can take place in different ways. People always, or often I would say, think of an unknown man hiding in the forest and just attacking a woman passing by. That is only one example of rape. You can do rape in many different ways. It is against the woman's own will, and you use force or you take advantage of her in some way, etc. I cannot give you more details than that, but it is a question of rape at this stage.
Are these women alleging that Mr. Assange used force to make them do something against their will?
I cannot answer to that question. I'm sorry.
What is it that these women are alleging happened to them?
Well, you see, why I cannot answer this question in a better way than I've already done is because it's very, very important that nothing, not more than necessary, gets public, because it can disturb the future investigation. And me, representing these two women, I have a very great interest that Julian Assange will not know more than he has to know, which he has the right to know, before he's questioned by the police. So I can only tell you that, as I said, rape can be performed in many different ways, but rape is a severe crime, and in the Swedish legislation, the punishment is imprisonment up to 4 years.
And rape is what both women are alleging?
In the beginning, yes, but at this stage, it's not a question of rape, according to the court, concerning more than one of the women.
Right. Whatever you call it, these women are alleging that Mr. Assange forced them to do something against their will.
Yes, that is so.
Mr. Assange insists that whatever happened was consensual.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not surprised that that is his standpoint, of course. And that is why he has to be interrogated. And later on, the prosecutor has to decide if she has enough proof to prove what the women say are correct. In that case, he will be prosecuted. Otherwise, it doesn't mean, if there will be no prosecution, it does not mean that the prosecutor doesn't believe the two women. But, you know, the burden of proof in Sweden as well as in the United States lies upon the prosecutor. And you have to have full proof, almost full proof. It must be beyond reasonable doubt, as you say, that you have committed the crime. Otherwise, we will not take it to court.
Mr. Assange insists that this is a case of political dirty tricks, that this is all to get back at him for putting out secret documents.
That is nonsense. I can tell you that.
Nonsense.
It's nonsense, yes. It's in his interest to claim that. I can understand that. But I happen to know that this is not true. It has nothing whatsoever to do with that. It is what happened between him and the two women, respectively. That is the case.
Do your clients have any political motive here?
No, none, not at all. They have been abused. They have gone to the police in the same way as, unfortunately, thousands of women do every year.
And nothing political about it?
No. And as I said, I understand that this is in the interest of Julian Assange to say that this is a conspiracy and so on. But it is not. Mr.
Assange's lawyer says he is in Britain at an undisclosed location. What would you like British authorities to do?
To arrest him and to see to that he is brought to Sweden so the Swedish police can interrogate him.
Now, the British authorities are asking for more information about the allegations. As someone with a great deal of experience in that field, do you believe there is enough proof there for Britain to arrest and extradite Mr. Assange?
Well, I think so, but that is not my own field, as you know. I'm not the prosecutor. I don't represent the prosecution office.
Right.
But I think still that there is enough proof if, as I understand, the arrest warrant was not formulated in the correct way, and that has been changed now. So I suppose, I hope, and I believe that he will be brought to Sweden in a few days.
You believe he will be arrested?
Yes, yes, I do. And I think that is actually in the interest of everybody.